Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is get a sphere, and we're gonna change its color to orange for the color of the pumpkin. And for the sphere, we're going to change the size to, for the width is gonna be 120, and our height is gonna be 100. Now we're gonna make the steps to be 24, so it's gonna be really spherical, or technically like this. We're gonna change the length to 50. And then after this, we're gonna make duplicates. So we're gonna click on duplicate there. And then for our duplicate, we're gonna turn it a bit. So we're gonna turn around 30 degrees to the 30 degrees. And then we're gonna continue click duplicate so that it makes a copy all the way around. So I think I'm making one more duplicate. And then I'll group everything right here. So this now looks something like a pumpkin with the ridges. Now I'll group it. And the next thing we're going to do is I grab a cylinder onto the thing. So this is gonna be like the place inside the pumpkin to put like little candle for the light. So the length is 45 and the width is also 45. And we're going to make the big pumpkin transparent so it's easy to see. So right now this is like a little ring here, so I'm making a hole with the height of, this is gonna be 38, and this is also 38. And then we're going to align these two and make sure both sides are 6 the highest so that it's perfectly round. And then we're gonna align this right here. Okay, so then right now I'm aligning it, and you can see if it's correctly, it should be kind of checkered on the top, and then I'll group it, and then now it looks something like a ring here. And this is gonna be the place inside the pumpkin to put our candle. So right now I'm gonna make the bottom part of the pumpkin flat. So I'm gonna cut a face into it so that it's flat on the bottom, so it's easy to print out. So right now I'm making a face, so I'm cutting it flat so that it's flat like this. So if you look at the bottom, you should see it look like this. So when we group it, it cuts into the bottom part, making it flat. And right now I'm gonna cruise so that it touches the bottom part. So I'm gonna cruise this onto the bottom here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to duplicate this and make it a hole. I'm going to make it smaller and then a hole so that the inside of the pumpkin is hollow. And there's space to put stuff inside the pumpkin. So I just make it transparent so it's easier to see. And for this part of the pumpkin, I make it smaller than it is. So I think I drag, so shift, drag. So I hold shift, then I drag it to like 114 by 114, I think. So I hold shift and I drag it to 114 by 114, yeah. Then I line the two, so I make this a hole and then I line these two. So line at the center, left, and then right, like this. So now it's perfectly aligned. Then I run a hole through it. I group it. And then I make everything non-transparent. And then the next thing I do is I think I align these two so that this holder for the candle is in the middle. So I click align, then align everything to the center. I group everything. And now for this part, right now I'm cutting from the top. I'm gonna cut off a part so that you can put stuff in the pumpkin. So I get a cylinder, 75 by 75, I think. 75. And then I stretch it so that it's taller, so that I can cut in through the top, and I drag it up, and then I align these two left and right so it's in the middle, like this. So it should cut something like this, so it cuts the top off. So you can put stuff in the pumpkin. So now I'm just adjusting it to make sure it cuts a good amount apart, so there's enough space for my hand to go in. So now I group everything, and you can see that the top will be cut off. It might take some time when cutting, usually. Yeah, so you can see now the top is cut off here. So now your pumpkin should look something like this, with the top being open and the bottom being flat. So I'm just cruising to make sure it's perfectly flat on the bottom. Okay, so the next part I do is make the face for the pumpkin, I think. So right now I turn the face so that for the eyes of the pumpkin, so I'm turning it. So this is for the face of the pumpkin right here. So, and then I'm making it go up a little. So I'm stretching it so that it goes all the way through the pumpkin to make a little face on the eyes for the pumpkin. So now you can see I'm adjusting the here. So you can see it cuts all the way through like that. And then, yeah, I'm just adjusting where the eyes are. I think I make another copy also for the right eye here. So I'm adjusting the position of this eye here. So you can see I'm making a duplicate, and then I'm moving this duplicate to the right for the second eye. And then for this, I'm making it, so this is for the nose of the pumpkin. So it's going to be a little triangle. So I drag that in. And for the triangle, I'm making a hole. And then I'll do the exact same thing with with the eyes and put it through the face so that it makes a kind of nose for the pumpkin. So right now I'm just adjusting the values, which are 40. It doesn't really matter the length, it just needs to go all the way through. So I'm using 40 right here. Then I'm just moving it up so that it's in the middle of the pumpkin here. And I'm making the nose go higher up. And then finally for I think I'm making the mouth. So the mouth is going to be like a semicircle or semi-cylinder. So I'm turning it to be like this. And then I'm also making, yeah, I'm making it be slanted for the mouth so it's not perfectly straight. So it looks really cool. So something like, so I'm turning it at an angle. Then I'm going to make it a hole and stretch it out. So I think this is also 40. And then I'm making a hole and then I'm putting on the face here. So I'm stretching the the distance, and then I'm putting it through the through the face. And I'm making it. I'm making it adjusting it like. This doesn't need to be super accurate. Just make sure it's somewhat in the middle, and you can adjust like the face a little bit. And now I group everything to make the hole through here, so that it will make the face now. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making the little cover, the pumpkin stem and the cover for the top, because right now our pumpkin doesn't have like a cover or stem. So I'm going to be making that, I think. Yeah, so I start with a cylinder, and the cylinder is going to be really large, 74.5 and 74.5, but it's going to be really flat also. And then on top of the cylinder, I'm going to get like a semicircle, semi-sphere. So 74.5 by 74.5, and make sure you remember to put the sides to the max. And I make this really thin, I think. So I drag this down to a really small, I think like 4 or 5 maybe. Or even small. Yeah, 4. So I drag that down to 4, and then I'm gonna attach a semi-sphere onto here so that it kind of goes up. Where for like so it follows the curve of the pumpkin. So I'm making this green so it's easier to see. And then on the top, I'm gonna attach a semi-sphere on the pink one at the top. Right now, I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, so I'm attaching this on, and you can attach it straight on. This is the same, I think 70. I think it might be a bit higher because we want it to go past it. Yeah, 77 by 77. So this goes a bit past our original uh cylinder when it's attached on top. So both dimensions are 77 by 77, like that. And then I align it like this. Align it to centered everything. Everything centered. Yeah, like that. So it looks something like that. I think now I group it here. So now everything's green here. Now I'm gonna make a little handle on the top for the pumpkin stem, as well as for like so you can take the lid off the pumpkin. So to do this, I'm gonna use this ring here, but I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it to 1/3 of it, something. So it's 25 by 25, but I'm gonna cut like 2/3 of the ring off so that I can make a ring. And I'm making the radius larger here. So I tried doing that, but it didn't work that well. But I'm basically cutting uh, using this um using this to cut part of the ring off here. So I'm getting this little cutter here, and I'm trying to only have 1/3 of the ring left. So something like this you can see here. So right now I'm just adjusting the position. So you see I'm cutting all the parts and then moving this a bit to the so I'm only leaving 1/3 of the ring left after cutting. And then now I group everything so I get the thing. And then I use this ring and put it on top for the pumpkin stem or handle. But I need to turn it first. So right now I think I'm turning it. Yeah. 90 degrees. Then 90 degrees again, I think. Or maybe just a bit degrees. Yeah. So I'm moving it up and I'm adjusting it. I'm probably, yeah. So I think I'm gonna center this, if I'm right. Moving this more up here. And then I turn it a little bit so it's easier to grab it on because it's not straight up. So I turn it a little bit like that. Move it more up here. So now right here, I think I either, yeah, I group it here. So now you can see we have the stem, so we can take the lid off of the pumpkin or put it on. So right now I think I'm moving it up, so just to show you guys how it looks. So I'm gonna cruise onto there, onto the top here. So you have to be careful for this part, but yeah, sometimes it's a bit difficult to do it, but that's basically how you make that part here. Or you can, yeah, you can also just drag it on, which also works. So right now I'm just trying to drag it onto the top of the pumpkin. Yeah. But when we print it, I think it's printed separately because we need it to be able to take the lid off. But this is just to demonstrate how it looks when it's done printing and when you attach it on. It looks something like that. Yeah, that's basically our finished product for our pumpkin. And then after we can just put a little candle inside the middle, which acts as the light for the pumpkin. And the students will also have opportunities to make their own custom design on the back, if they want to. So that's how we're gonna make this pumpkin for Halloween. Good luck to all the TAs.